Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we're going to install a RCI transmission skid plate on this 2021 Lexus GX460. Same thing applies to the Toyota 4Runner. Same exact type of setup. So whether you have a 4Runner or a GX, this video will definitely apply to you. Make sure you put the skid on before you destroy your transmission. Don't do like we did, which is destroy this transmission first and then get the plate. Now here's the new oil pan done by Desert Lexus in Cathedral City, California. They did a fantastic job. I think the Scott Farnsworth was the service advisor or the service rep, and they put in a new oil pan, new strainer, and new O-ring to fix the damaged pan that high centered on a rock. There's no leaks. Here we are inspecting the flange. It looks good, it drives good, at least for now, so let's hope for the best. That's all we can do. Now some of these bolts here, this is the two bolts on the front skid that have to be loosened. At least that's what the instructions said, but we ended up taking them all the way out. So that'd be install pointer number one, is to take these two front bolts all the way out. When I say front bolts, they are on the rear of your front RCI skid plate. In other words, the skid plate that protects the front differential. The reason why I am hammering here on these bolt heads is because they're marred and damaged from sliding over rocks. So I had to hammer the socket on and then get them off. They're only up there with 22 foot-pounds, so it was no big deal. Once a socket could get around those to just zip them right off without issue. So you'll see here in a moment, once we loosen these, there's going to be a gap in your front skid plate. Excuse me, and there's also a nylon spacer in there, which you're going to have to reuse. And that gap right there, you see that gap? That's where you're going to slide your transmission plate in. Now these bolts need to be removed on your, essentially, these tubes are triangulate the frame to the cross member. So they're just triangulation tubes, essentially making a truss type of shape to strengthen the cross member there. That'd be install pointer number one, is to take these two front bolts all the way out. When I say front bolts, they are on the rear of your front RCI skid plate. In other words, the skid plate that protects the front differential. The reason why I am hammering here on these bolt heads is because they're marred and damaged from sliding over rocks. So I had to hammer the socket on and then get them off. They're only up there with 22 foot-pounds, so it was no big deal. Once a socket could get around those to just zip them right off without issue. So you'll see here in a moment, once we loosen these, there's going to be a gap in your front skid plate. Excuse me, and there's also a nylon spacer in there, which you're going to have to reuse. And that gap right there, see that gap? That's where you're going to slide your transmission plate in. Now I will note, what we're doing here is no fault at all of RCI. They're just, ours are just bashed up from use. So I have no idea how it's supposed to fit if those things are in perfect condition. You get what I'm saying? So this may or may not be a necessary step for you. But like with any type of modification, you're gonna have to kind of work with things sometimes. So don't be afraid to bend things and get things to work within reason. So you're using a essentially what you're going to want to use here is just a normal grinding wheel. Kind of went back and forth here with the cutter, diamond blade cutter, and a grinding wheel to see which one would work better. And at the end of the day, it was the grinding wheel. The grinding wheel makes it happen. Go ahead and grind those down flush. Okay, once you're done grinding, it looks like that. See how flat that is? And now it's nice and flat. You got a flat surface. Go ahead and hit it with some spray paint if you want. We painted ours black. There it is, black. And now it's just time to put it back in. And again, this is kind of like a test fit because I know there's going to be some spacing involved, just based on what it all looks like. So hopefully this information will save you some time, because we did have to use some spacers here, and this is the, again, rearward facing end of the transmission skid. So this is the rear towards the gas tank, and essentially some galvanized washers are going to be thrown in here for spacers, because there's going to be a gap, which you'll see in a moment. And to space them, we used just basic galvanized flat washers. I believe there was 3 underneath of the tube, and 2 or 3 above the tube. And you're almost done. Beautiful looking aluminum plate. Very well built, no design flaws, nothing. A work of art by RCI without a doubt. Now, once you cinch them on with your with your impact or whatever, and they're snug, then it's time to torque them down with your torque wrench. So go ahead and grab your torque wrench, and 22 foot-pounds, 22 is a stock, and that's what they recommend. Remember, they're held on, the weight of the plate pulling down acts as a spring washer, so that's all you need to do. They won't loosen up on their own. And that's it. That's the finished product. RCI did a great job. If you like this video, please remember to hit like and subscribe. Thank you, and have a great day.